Welcome to an episode of Strategic Minds Making Money Moves. We all know how much strategy goes into making that green. I'm so excited to have you here today. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how do you scale your business even when you're just getting started. Again, let's talk about what that really means. It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you my great guest this morning, and her name is Shawn Brown, and she's from CheezeCaked. So welcome, Shawn.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure, and I'm looking so forward to hearing about your business.
Awesome.
And where you're going. So why don't you share with the audience a little bit about your company?
Well, CheezeCaked started as a cheesecake company where we specialize in small, personal-sized cheesecakes, the size of a cupcake, so that way you can try different flavors and have a variety. They're less calories than a full size and less expensive. And then as the business grew, we grew into milkshakes. We did these huge milkshakes. We, of course, added cheesecake to them. They all came with a cheesecake bar. And that really catapulted us in the Instagram world because we became a destination spot for Instagrammable photos for my millennial customers. And then we ended up, we were whimsical, fun. We even had a unicorn grilled cheese sandwich, just everything colorful and fun.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. So how did the business take off? Where are you now? Talk to me a little bit about that journey.
So I started just selling the cheesecakes to restaurants, I'm talking grassroots, knocking on doors, doing catering in restaurants. Then we went into a small space in downtown Atlanta called Peachtree Center. I had 400 square feet there. And so that was good, but people weren't able to really pull up on the weekends. They couldn't see us unless they were in there. So we went and got a storefront in Buckhead, Piedmont, Sydney Marcus area. So now we have a full location. Originally, I only had 4 tables in there because I thought it was going to be, really quick to go. But then as we got more popular, we ran out of seating. Like we had no seating inside. I had to buy tables and chairs for outside. And we outgrew the outside area where we would almost need a waiting list, but people would want reservations. But it just wasn't that kind of setup because it was just kind of like first come, first serve. But if one time I had an actual tour bus pull up,
oh my God,
with no notice, it was a birthday party. And so 18 teenagers piled in, and it literally took over the entire space, right? So I started looking for a bigger space, and I was able to double our space, did the build out. It wasn't far from there, but then 2 months after I opened that location, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer.
Oh no.
So then I had to make a choice of keeping it going or focus on myself. So I focused to close. So we've been closed for a year.
Okay.
While I recover.
Well, praise God. And we know the recovery is already here and the victory is won. So we already know that. Thinking about where you want to go next, when you talk about looking at your audiences, you say you had a bus of 18-year-olds coming by. So we know that the desire is there. Are you still keeping the same focus on just cheesecake, or are you expanding your products again to continue to move forward?
Ooh, good question. So, while I've been down, before I went down, I was in negotiations with Caesar's Palace Hotel to put a cheesecake in Vegas. And the Walt Disney Company had reached out about putting one possibly in Disney Springs. So I'm not sure which direction it's going to go, coming right back into it. I've kept the momentum of my Instagram page up so people still know that we're there. We do, pop-up shops here and there. I've been invited to do, other businesses that want the audience that I have will invite us out to come and make milkshakes and do stuff at other locations. So I don't think I would expand the menu. I just probably need to hone it on in and make it easier to control for now.
Do you have a staff right now? Are starting to build a staff to get ready to come back to the business based upon where you are right now, knowing that are you looking to do this in 6 months, in 5 months, in 4 months? What's your heart's desire?
My heart's desire?
Yes.
Oh, it's a tall order. So for me to come back, because I was 100% involved in this business, I was I did everything, okay? And there was probably a lot of stress, and it was really hard. I don't know if I want to go back to it being that way.
Okay.
So would I need to build a better team? Absolutely. Have I found them? No. Because I hadn't really taken the step to say, this is what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I do have a wish list, but I'm not sure if I should focus on the wish list first or the team first, because I'm not paying anybody right now. We're not, we're not in business. But my vision would be, we've become extremely popular. Because I've been on Good Morning America. I get a lot of press, right? And so CheezeCaked became like a tourist location. People would come and they have their bucket list of places to go, and we were one of them. I've met people from all over the country. It humbles my heart. So I don't think that being in a shopping center would work for us. My vision would be for us to have our own building. It doesn't have to be a ginormous building, but a building with maybe a couple different stories to it, so that we can have birthday parties and workshops. We can still have the CheezeCaked experience, merchandise, and then I need something for adults. I was thinking, maybe the top floor will have small appetizers and or alcohol, in moderation, just so do the grown and sexy thing.
Yeah.
But the entire building would be an experience. That's my vision. I know it's.
Look, if we don't ask to reach to the mountaintop doesn't happen. So you keep that vision. Do you have a time period of when you want to open up again?
By next summer.
By next summer. Well, we're going to take a station break, and when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about what's going on, and I have a few tips that I would love to share with Shawn around some of the challenges that she's facing. We'll be right back.
Strategic Minds, Making Money Moves with Vicki Wright-Hamilton focuses on helping entrepreneurs to overcome their business challenges to help increase their bottom line. Each episode provides strategies for growth and transformation. Watch Vicki share her 20-plus years of experience as a corporate executive to help entrepreneurs level up.
Strategic Minds Making Money Moves. When we think about that, we think about strategy. Do we know that strategy is in every single thing we do? But when I think about all the components that we have to consider, when we're trying to talk about a solution to any given problem, those things in my mind, we need to take that solution and measure it against those 4 things consisting of: how much money is this going to take? How much money do I need to make? What kind of process do I have to have in place? What are the things that I need to plan for in order to make it happen? What kind of people or skill sets do I need? Do I have them today? Will I need them tomorrow? If I have them today, do they have skill gaps? What are those gaps? How will I fill those gaps? When we think about our customer, the ultimate customer are the people that we're asking to believe in us. That ultimate customer wants to know that you have their best interest at heart. So you have to do your homework. What is my customer really looking for? How do I know it? I know my customer is looking for this because I did my market research. I looked to find out, I did focus groups. I talked to people, And guess what? I went to my target audience to get the direct information for what I needed. I didn't guess. I didn't assume. I didn't just think that because I want to do it, it's the best thing to do. So when you're thinking about all of your strategies and you want to make money, make sure that you're looking at every single aspect so that you don't leave any stone unturned, that you make sure that everything works just as you need it to work to make that what? Green on the bottom line. So welcome back. I have such a phenomenal guest today. Let's continue our conversation with Shawn as she's talking about the cheesecake. Now, you said a few things before we went on station break that I really want to expand upon. You talked about how you've been on Good Morning America. You talked about how you've gotten good press. And then now you're thinking about, when do I start? How do I start? And how do I get to that scale?
Right.
So, I love your vision of ultimately wanting your own building. Right? And there are times when, as we talk about wanting our own building, wanting where we want to go, there are times that we may have to take small steps to get there. Right? And we think about, how do I really reach my maximum potential of that North Star on the mountaintop? Right? And how do I make that happen? And some of the things that you can think about is, maybe you're getting some space that's within a building that a company owns that allows you to have their food court, that allows you to have conference space that you can use, that you can open up and repurpose. We have to get creative when we start thinking about these things. So if you go to a building that's owned by a Fortune 500 company, and you know how they have Starbucks and coffee, well, nothing like coffee and cheesecake. I know I'm one of them. But, as you're starting to expand that, then you can have an open front. And then you get all the seating that's out there and available to get going as you start to incrementally grow. So there are ways to reach to where you want to go and then say, okay, I'm just in this food area of this building. Now they see how much my business is growing. They'll let me get a little bit more of the space, so you can continue to expand and have an opportunity for growth. I think that when you talk about your advertising, look, you had great press. Who wouldn't want to be on Good Morning America, right?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want Disney calling them? Who wouldn't want to have these great opportunities? My advice to you, don't let them go. So continue the conversations, because it may be to a point that by next summer, through all this planning time, they're willing to pay for some of that for you. They can front some of the money for you. One of the things about being a diverse supplier is that you meet goals for them too. And when we begin to think about business, we have to think about, how am I helping them? Well, you're satisfying them. If I'm supposed to do so much business with diverse suppliers, if I say that I'm committed to diversity, inclusion, and equity, and this is something that I'm going to do, this could be part of my service of giving back. So I don't want you to lose sight of the fact that just because it happened before and we had a slight pause and God said, wait a minute, hold on, I need you to slow down a little bit. He's going to bless you and allow you the ability to pick it back up. But that slight pause is only temporary. So you're being blessed with the opportunity to have the time to plan, to really think about that planning. Before I go into some other areas, I do want to ask some further questions in terms of when you were in business before. So we can talk a little bit about what worked and what didn't work. So we know that space was part of the challenge. We know that your visibility was great. But what were your business challenges during that time where you had to address some things that were hard for you to do, or you wish you had done something differently now that you're taking a break?
Oh, I wish that there was a level of management in between me and the employees, because they saw me so much and I would jump in wherever I needed to jump in, make a milkshake, be a cashier, make a sandwich, make a delivery, run to Sam's, whatever needed to be done, I was there all the time. So they started to see me as an employee as well and a friend. And at the end of the day, I'm not your friend. So there was a lot of the employees getting too comfortable with me. But I'm a very, like, we were a family. We do get to know each other and love each other. And when someone's going through something, we cheer each other on. But they probably got a little bit too comfortable, and I needed to learn how to take a step back. I needed to learn how to trust people more and let them, but I was so afraid of them. I had built this by myself. I was so afraid of letting just some teenagers or young adults who only were there for a paycheck. They kind of had like my livelihood in their hands for my children, for myself, for my future. And so I felt like I just really needed to be there. So this going forward now, I know I can't do that again. We won't, when I come in, they need to know, oh, Miss Shawn's coming, let me tighten up, let me do what I gotta do, instead of, oh, hey girl, we can't do that anymore. And I got into the business because I really enjoyed baking and wanted to bring joy. That was the whole thing. That was why CheezeCaked was born, just to bring happiness and joy to people. But once you start to become popular, you don't get to do that a lot, So I had to deal with a lot of, maybe people that were hard to please, people that were upset that there wasn't any seating. Then we have homeless people coming in, so you have to deal with, it's just an array of things that I never even thought about. One person came in, a homeless person would not leave. We had to call the police to get them out. It's just, you get bombarded with things like, okay, wait, this wasn't on the list. Didn't prepare for this, the sink's flooding. Okay, so now I'm a plumber. Somebody clogged the toilet. Okay, now I'm unclogging a toilet. It was so many things that you don't think about when it comes to a bakery. You think it's just, oh, let me go and get a slice. And no, And then they want to have parties and stuff like that. So it just became very overwhelming.
So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, all of these insights are great to help to plan for, so what do I do next? And so when we come back, we're actually going to talk about what you can do next and get some information from our audience.
Yay.
Okay?
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Strategic Minds, Making Money Moves with Vicki Wright-Hamilton focuses on helping entrepreneurs to overcome their business challenges to help increase their bottom line. Each episode provides strategies for growth and transformation. Watch Vicki share her 20-plus years of experience as a corporate executive to help entrepreneurs level up.
Strategic Minds Making Money Moves. When we think about that, we think about strategy. Do we know that strategy is in every single thing we do? But when I think about all the components that we have to consider, when we're trying to talk about a solution to any given problem, those things in my mind, we need to take that solution and measure it against those 4 things consisting of: how much money is this going to take? How much money do I need to make? What kind of process do I have to have in place? What are the things that I need to plan for in order to make it happen? What kind of people or skill sets do I need? Do I have them today? Will I need them tomorrow? If I have them today, do they have skill gaps? What are those gaps? How will I fill those gaps? When we think about our customer, the ultimate customer are the people that we're asking to believe in us. That ultimate customer wants to know that you have their best interest at heart. So you have to do your homework. What is my customer really looking for? How do I know it? I know my customer is looking for this because I did my market research. I looked to find out, I did focus groups. I talked to people, And guess what? I went to my target audience to get the direct information for what I needed. I didn't guess. I didn't assume. I didn't just think that because I want to do it, it's the best thing to do. So when you're thinking about all of your strategies and you want to make money, make sure that you're looking at every single aspect so that you don't leave any stone unturned, that you make sure that everything works just as you need it to work to make that what? Green on the bottom line. So welcome back. Glad to have you join us again talking to Shawn Brown about CheezeCaked. What an inspiring story. So Shawn, before we actually took our break and you were talking about all of the challenges, we all know that as an entrepreneur, you got to do A through Z, right? And everything in between.
Oof.
Things you didn't think about, things that come up. And those are challenges. But I'd like to, give you a couple of things as you're beginning this journey going forward. And I want to position it from the perspective that there are really 4 primary areas as you begin to think about, how do I start this business again? Okay. The first one is obviously around our finances. What are we looking at from a financial perspective, what it's going to take? And now that you know and have learned from previously, you now know that there may be some extra expenses you need to include in there for managers and things like that as you move forward. And you can have different scenarios for whether you're getting a storefront in a company's building, whether you're getting a different kind of storefront yourself, whatever that might happen to be.
Okay.
The second thing is that when you think about how it's going to work, you've been through the workflow before. So I would recommend that right now you take the time to identify all the workflows of all the things that occurred while they're fresh in your mind. This happened. What would I do differently? How would I make it? We used to make cheesecake on this side. Maybe we need to make it on this side. Maybe we offer this. So start to go through each one of those because you want to become as efficient as possible.
Right.
And that will allow you to gain that efficiency.
Okay.
The third thing is that when you think about your personnel, everybody doesn't have to be an employee. So you have interns you can get. There are people that are going to learn about school and cooking. Think about how you could do that and do it as a project, right? You can hire them as a project. They can come in and help you get what you need and where you're going. Think about the fact that there might be other entrepreneurs out there that are that do nothing but delivery services. Maybe you contract with them to get those delivery services. So don't just think it has to be an employee with salary, tax, and fringe and all of that goes with it.
Okay.
There's lots of opportunities to be creative when you're doing that.
Awesome.
And last but not least, as you're thinking about your audience, we've talked about millennials, we've talked about, different age range. We got Generation Z now. You got a lot of areas. Well, I'm going to tell you, even somebody like me that's a little bit more seasoned loves her cheesecake. I love my cheesecake. So to be able to come and have cheesecake and have it as an appetizer and enjoy would be wonderful.
Okay.
But start to think about how your different audience segments are really going to enjoy it and have opportunities. And it is true, people will want parties. Maybe that's another revenue stream, but you limit it to begin with and you gradually open the door and opportunity because you have the control as to how many you want. You have the control as to what that's going to look like. So now that you have this time, begin to map all those things out, and it will help you as you get ready to move forward. And last but not least, don't forget about the customers that were out there before. Start those conversations. After you've laid this out, then you'll have a better idea what to talk to them about and how to take that forward. So now we're going to go to our audience and we're going to ask them if they have any questions for Shawn.
Hey, Shawn.
Hi.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I really don't have a question as much, but as a recommendation or suggestion, you said that you have a fabulous audience and you have this story of triumph.
Yes.
I think it's really important. I'm a marketing strategist. I think it's really important to take them on that journey with you as much as you're comfortable with, because I think that you will find a lot of allies.
Yes.
So many women deal with breast cancer, and you may find that some people want to sponsor you or feel a special connection to you because of that authentic story, that some of these issues that and challenges may be non-issues when you engage your community.
Oh yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. So as we begin to end this segment, I just want to say to you, first, can we give a round of applause to thank my phenomenal guests for being here?
Thank you.
Now, I hope you'll tune in next week for our next segment. But remember one thing, everything you do is a strategy. It's just all about how you implement it. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.